When Jeff Bezos first bought the Post, he set very lofty goals on us around audience. And we're starting to see this sort of injection of capital towards technology and towards editorial really starting to deliver on that. Passing the New York Times was a very great thing to have done, but it's just something that sort of happened along the way to really hit the greater goals that we have for us as a company. What's driving that is really, like I said, editorial and technology. The combination of the investments that Jeff has put into those two areas at the Washington Post.
So let's talk about the editorial, the hiring, and then not to get the secret sauce, but what is technology that's driving it?
Sure. I mean, I wish there was one secret sauce. I think we're winning in lots of areas is what it takes to sort of have the growth that we have here. But in the editorial space, there's been roughly 100 new editorial journalists who have joined the Post since Bezos came. That's incremental hires there, and so we've been able to cover a broader scope of content than what we previously were. We were definitely known in the past as politics and DC. And really today we're about being a national news site, and so we scaled out the talent to really start to cover areas that represent that. Technology is lots of really exciting things that are going on. One example is a technology called Bandito that we've developed and rolled out recently, which essentially is everybody sort of plays with headlines a little bit, right? Trying to find the right headline that's going to draw in the most readers and the right kind of readers. But what we've done is built a technology that in real time is testing multiple headlines across different platforms in different geos against different audiences, and is determining what is the most optimal headline to be used at this moment in time in this instance, and then is dynamically changing the headline. No one's going back in and manually changing it. And so I don't believe anybody else has that, and that has really created this environment where people want to share things, and people are discovering us who may not have discovered us before. But the key is it's not just about that, it also has to be about when people do find you, are they engaging in the content? You know, you don't want to drive a bunch of what we call one-hit wonders, which are people who just come and go. We need people when they show up, based on a great headline, to find that the content is engaging and is quality, and therefore they're going to spend several minutes reading that entire story, and that's what we've seen. So it's great to talk about uniques and that growth, but we're extremely proud of the fact that we've been able to also keep those key engagement metrics. So that's the technology side of it for sure. Also, the way we built our CMS, it's very flexible and allows us to quickly get our content into all the various platforms as where we want to go. So we have done a lot of experimentation with Facebook Instant. We were, I think, one of the first major publishers to go completely all in on Facebook Instant from day one. And that's been a very interesting experiment with us. We're trying, that's one of the key things you'll see if you ever were to come in and spend some time in the Post. You'll see that everything today is all about experimentation and just doing everything, testing everything, failing fast, and moving on to the next piece.
The apps are really nice, and don't see that much advertising in the apps. So talk about sort of advertising, that more conventional display versus content ads or custom content, or how you would, what's the mix?
Sure. I mean, we think it's very important to have the right balance in order to have a large, unique audience that's going to stay engaged. You can't clobber them over the head with advertisements. I think the app you're referring to is probably the new Washington Post app, which is the Blue app in the App Store, and we call that Rainbow, which was also a vision from Jeff Bezos. And the ads are really good there because the mandate from the top was zero latency and big and beautiful. And so ads had to meet the same criteria as the content did. And so we ended up building our own ad server, which is called Prism, that is able to accomplish that. And so we have built an entire UI that allows us to manage the ad piece, but then that integrates in with the CMS to publish the ads alongside the content. And so the app itself is pre-downloading the ads with the content itself, and so you never have a spinning wheel, and you end up allowing these big dynamic ads that aren't intrusive because you can swipe right through them just as you do the content. Video's been a huge investment of ours for a very long time. We're constantly experimenting with new strategies. We were very much several years ago all about shows, and we were pre-programming things, and Tuesday night at 8 o'clock we were going to record this show and run it. And now it's much more dynamic. It's much more about creating content that's relevant for today. It's about looking at every single story and trying to decide what's the best way to tell that story. And if video is the way to do that, then we need to jump on that right away and take advantage of it. You know, we talk a lot about like if you're in line at the coffee shop, you know, versus being at your office. Right? There's different types of content that you're going to consume, and there's different types of stories that you're going to consume in those ways on those various different devices. Video plays into that, and you have to think about that as we're rolling the strategy out.